And that, as a second reason, in conjunction with the first reason, as I stated with the condominium recovery, leads to more transactions in the month of January by a factor of 50%, which is tremendous. The January 2021 TREB resale report and all the important market trends and stats you need to know in today's video. Let's get to it. Hello everyone, this is Sam from SaberiSixRealEstate and Remax Realtron Realty Inc. As always, you can find my contact information in the description box with regards to my office, my Gmail, and my Instagram. Lastly, if you happen to enjoy my videos, feel free to subscribe, comment, and like. Your support is much appreciated in that regard. However, if you do not want to, feel free not to. Let's get to the point of today's video, which is, as always, the TREB resale report. Every time it comes out within a day or two, I break down the market report, break down some major key stats and numbers, and identify certain trends. Obviously, I cannot go through the entirety of the report, for it is a long report, but I try to identify what is most important about Toronto and the GTA real estate market as it pertains both for condominiums and freehold properties. If you have any further questions, get in touch with me in the comments or via my contact info. If there's something I covered or I did not cover you want to know more about. As always, some of these numbers are very general. Some of them are a bit more specific. For you to have the best understanding for whatever your question is, you probably have to get in touch with a real estate agent for them to do a finer, more detailed analysis based on not only area or property type, but specific street within the last week and that property type. Whatever your question is, these numbers are good for a general direction, but they do not give you the most detailed answer. Anyways, let's get to the report. 6,928 transactions in the month of January 2021, year over year, representing a large increase of about 52%. Now, this can be attributed to both a recovering condo market, because as we've said, the condo market has been declining. However, it is slowly and steadily increasing in prices, meaning it is slowly and steadily recovering for sellers. Although this is great news for sellers, not so good news for buyers. Furthermore, the increase in transactions can be mainly attributed to the number of transactions occurring in freehold properties all over the GTA, because there's rampant bidding wars for freehold properties, and most listings going on sale are listing offer presentation dates to induce a bidding war intentionally with a lower than market value price. And I'm not speaking in theory, I'm speaking in practice when I'm looking for detached, semi-detached homes right now with my clients on the buying side. And right now I have a couple of properties on the selling side coming onto the market, and naturally we're doing the same thing. We see that our commodity is hot in demand. We try to induce a bidding war to get the best price and the best offer for our client. And that, as a second reason, in conjunction with the first reason, as I stated with the condominium recovery, leads to more transactions in the month of January by a factor of 50%, which is tremendous. I mean, tremendous in a value neutral way. I'm not saying it's good or bad, but it's truly, it's a big increase. Let's go to average selling price, which year over year stands at $967,000, which is a 15% increase. The majority of this is being carried by freehold properties, mainly detached and semi-detached. As I've said, I believe we will see a month in 2021 where the average selling price across all areas will be $1 million. Now, it's not going to be average across 2021 the entire year, but it is creeping up to $1 million in terms of average price. Now let's look at the year over year change in average days on market for properties, which is 33 this year, which is a 10% decrease from 37 of last year, January of 2020. And to me, this is surprising. I assumed it would be around the same range because although freeholds are hotter than they were last year, at the same time last year, condominiums, although recovering, are still not as hot as they were last year. For that reason, I assumed it would be in the same range of maybe 35, 36, but 33 shows us that inventory is moving fast, and it is very good news for sellers. And in terms of freehold properties, not good news for buyers. And this really shows us that if you want to be a buyer and stay competitive in today's market, you have to act fast. Speaking of specificity, let's get a little bit more specific as we go on with these numbers and trends. Let's go now look at average selling prices of property types across the GTA and then look at Toronto specifically. The average selling price of a condominium apartment was $600,000. This is based on 2,471 transactions, and it's a 4.75% decrease year over year. Now, if we break down the condo prices in the 905 and the 416, so the city of Toronto and York region and other areas, we get a little bit more detail and explanation here, and it's interesting, and it's something I've been talking about for a long time. Condominiums outside of the city city of Toronto actually improved in price. The average selling price of a condominium outside of the city of Toronto was $547,000, which represents a 4.8% increase, right? So the total figure for the TREB areas, the GTA at large, including all the areas, is actually a 4% decrease, as we previously discussed. But if we look at the 905 specifically, we see a 4% increase at the price of $547,000. Now, if we look at Toronto specifically, we see an 8% decrease year over year in average price, where the average price right now is $624,000 for a condominium, right? So when the total figure, right, all areas, TREB areas, GTA, including York, Peel, Durham, Toronto, all that number that factors all those areas in is now 4%. But when we break those numbers down and segment them, the Toronto area is down 9%, but York region and other areas is actually up. We see and we can simply conclude that what's really weighing down the condominium market to this day is still Toronto, because other areas are actually rebounding a bit faster and increasing in price. The average selling price of a detached property was $1.3 million, which is reflected in the percentage change, which is a 30% increase year over year. So average selling price right now at 1.3 is 30% higher than it was in January of 2020. And obviously Toronto, if we look at specifically in Toronto, the average selling price of a detached property is $1.5 million, which is a 16% increase year over year. But the biggest percentage change is actually in the 905, the remaining areas in the GTA. And the average selling price is less than Toronto at 1.3 million, but the increase is 30%. So any given detached property in the 905, so maybe in York region, is still on average cheaper than its counterpart in the city of Toronto. But compared to the same time last year, it has gone up more and increased in price even more. Naturally, as I've discussed and predicted for a long time, this is because people are leaving Toronto, leading to prices to skyrocket in other areas such as Durham and York region, wherein in certain areas of York region, for instance, you are still central, you are still close to Yonge and Bathurst, but you are further out, you probably have a bigger lot, a bigger backyard. Furthermore, for that price, you're getting something bigger and better than if you were to have that same price and budget in the city of Toronto. And as we know, people are working from home, and a lot of condominium owners who sold their condominium, who are end users, have migrated towards freehold properties as well, because they want to migrate out of Toronto as well. Now let us just look at the city of Toronto in terms of condominiums for a second here. Anyways, that's it for this video. In upcoming videos, I'm going to continue breaking other aspects of this report down, more detailed and specific aspects. But for now, this is it. Thanks for watching. Feel free to subscribe, comment, like, and review. If you have any further questions, feel free to ask me in the comments or get in touch with me via my contact information in the description box. Thank you and stay safe.